I'm Sam Nyakojo. I work for JESE as a manager under natural resources and spearheading the agroforestry systems that are being implemented in Chenjojo, Charusozi, Kihura, Abutunduzi, with the farmers adjacent to major forest reserves. The agroforestry systems are looking at the integration of high-value crops with indigenous trees, and we are looking at it for provision of shade within the cocoa and vanilla growing systems, but also the cocoa and vanilla growing systems providing cash to the communities. So it is one way of harnessing restoration, because we are looking at cash in the form of value, sorry, cocoa and coffee and the vanilla, but also the environment conservation using the indigenous trees, which are mainly called Mysopsis, Grevillea, and other indigenous trees. Now, these agroforestry systems are well designed and established to meet the requirements of the high-value crops, and we are implementing them in the form of models. We have 3 models: A1, A2, A3. These models are dependent on the needs of the farmer, but also on the location of the system. If the system is located near the forest reserve, then we take the A1, which has more trees than the crops. If the system is to be nearer the household of the farmer, we did not create much of the forest, then we use a system which has fewer trees with much high-value crops. So it's basically for provision of shade to the high-value crops, but we as conservationists, we are achieving by getting the areas restored using the indigenous trees. So far we have seen good adoption of the systems, because they are well fitting within the context of our farmers who have small pieces of land, which are maximally utilized now with high-value crops and indigenous trees. But what we are doing is just a pilot. We are looking at how can government harness restoration using agroforestry system. So what we are putting in place should be able to create learning, so that the government should be able to learn and adopt the implementation of these systems into their annual budgets and plans, so that we can scale to the wider areas in the other areas where we are not implementing. We are looking at how they can harness budget increment, how they can harness manpower on ground, because we are looking at restoration in the era of climate change, and also how we can harness resilience within the communities by planting more trees, by getting them get money, but also conserving the environment. When you look at some of the GIS maps of the 1990, Chenjojo and the entire elephant corridor was highly under cover of trees. But with the growing population and the needs for foods and the rest, they ended up cutting the forests that were there, putting there the food crops. Definitely the income levels of the people are getting lower and low, which encouraged them to keep on more encroaching on the forests. But with the introduction of the agroforestry system now, it's trying to bring back the image of Chenjojo and the elephant corridor by adopting agroforestry systems. We are looking at farmers getting money that will strengthen their economic or boost the economic income, but also restoration by planting those trees.
Mavarando musomesa Godfrey Emmanuel, musomesa mkelezia ya Kisegenyi, omo parish ya Butondozi kandi mu diocese ya Fort Portal. Nyowe kabandu mulimi wa bulikiro, ndima bihimba, ibiraya nebitoli. Baitu JESE yongera taboraho kongera kurolera kurungi omwani ngwino ndimireho kandi gulimo nemikora kurungi mutargiraho. JESE yongera yije twegesaho kulima vanilla na cocoa. Nyo vanilla nuna tinka gesirem kujikwataho sente baitu ena gesireho nkamanya katale kamazire kunsiga nkakilo nkaisatu kandi hati eno yinteranize enyamesezi hati kutandika mu kwezi kwa 10 no kwa 11 already no kwa mwenda nkemesama hati ege ningibaliramu nsakuja kutunga mu nkakilo zange nkai 15 hati kilo 15 aho kuja kubaramu amitwaro 5 nisanga ndi mukasenta kangi akasemerire akonsobora kuihamu. JESE akategesaho na agroforestry ekyo nkasanga nikinsemezaho abokuba emiti nisanga netekamu ekituru kirungi ebinkwambiremo tibikuomangana kandi halo emiti ende tukwete emisizi ibaterizeho egyo nindoreriyo nekura kurungi obuturakeka haruguru aho nzagikorekaho egi ninihera mu myaka nka 8 nazo ezo nzija kuba ziri sente kandi zinkuba ninsiimira ekitongole ekya JESE. JESE na Forestry the World ninyongera kubasiima obuko bakatwaraho mutuwa bundi bujyo nambe twagire kurambura bakasomesa embyarendi ensi yake ya vanilla nyoka sanga vanilla ngibyire kubinge naganagira muno batoleka uko kutusemeye kugira byara kurungi hanyuma yo mwaka gumo bukubire kuzira ukabano ihamo neyera notungaho sente. JESE katerezaho habuzi bwingi hamwani no kugwanika kurora gwatunga umutindo murungi kuba umwana gwange kuyigira nambe JESE yampabulire hati ndani nturucyamo umwana uguri kurungi omana turcyaga ensaho emo obundi emo yanga kweka bitati nisanga nturucye bisaho byange bibiri okuba guturukira mu kurungi ninsubira mbwira bwo maisomo tikwijja kubande nkokundi nza kuba mpindukiro abo kuba nyegesa nyingi ya vanilla ya kokowa ey'omwani eya JESE yakutekamu sente.
My name is Muhwezi Deus, a resident of this village, Mahasa. The parish is Kawaruju, sub-county is Kihura. So I was just a farmer. I didn't know about vanilla, I didn't know about cocoa, I didn't know about agroforestry. But I got a chance and JESE selected me and trained me to be a CBT. So I was also selected to have a model agroforestry garden. Then I was trained for almost 2 weeks. Then when I was trained, I liked the idea. I came and started to practice. I started with cocoa and vanilla. Then in their training, they had taught us about different models. Then for me, I chose this model where I plant more cocoa and few vanilla. So I came and started. When I started, it was in 2019. When I came and told people about agroforestry on growing trees, and then the same garden we grow there vanilla and cocoa, which will have to give us a lot of money. People told me very many things about traditional beliefs on vanilla, that when you have many wives you can't grow vanilla, that vanilla has many beliefs, traditional beliefs, it can't be possible. But now I am happy. I planted it in April 2019, and after this is now, as you see, this one is the first yield. So I hope these ones will be sold in the coming months of December. So I almost get like 2 kilograms. That is the first harvest. Then next year, July, the harvest will increase up to like 7 kilograms. So now, I like this agroforestry system because I see I will not only benefit from cocoa and vanilla, but it also supported beekeeping project. I have a beekeeping project. Then these plants, these trees which I planted, they support my bees. In which way? Bees can't go very far to look for nectar and pollen. Actually, in this area, I am the leading producer of honey because of this agroforestry. Like last season of harvest, there are some farmers who didn't even get a kilogram. But for me, I managed to get like 40 kilograms of honey simply because I planted trees like cadiandra in this agroforestry system. And these cadiandra, they have flowers all the time. So bees are ever there. And that is the reason why I'm harvesting more honey. So I see I am getting a lot of money through this agroforestry. There is 1 year I managed to buy a cow from just honey because I got like 1.8 million shillings, and I decided to buy a cow so that I continue. I keep on remembering what I got from honey. So really, I thank JESE for these systems because these systems are giving us fresh air, they are conserving our environment. At the same time, we see we are getting a lot of money from it.